Hello, beautiful women. Welcome to the webinar on the feminine art of fearless confidence. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. So before we get started, I would love to just hear from some of you in the chat to make sure that you can hear me and see me and that all the tech is working properly. So if a couple of you could just type in yes, I would be very grateful for that. Great, it's looking great, awesome. So as you're coming in, I would love to just hear a hello from you and where you are in the world. I think it's really wonderful that there are so many women gathered from all over the country, all over the world into the space together, and it's great to see where we're all from. So let me know where you are. Great, thank you, Julia, Carrie, and Morna. And in just about 1.5 minutes or so, we will get started. Hi, Doiga, Christine, Julia. We've got Turkey and California and Pennsylvania. Hi, Connie and Carrie. Welcome. So happy that you're here. So good to see and hear from so many of you around this topic. New Jersey. I'm sitting here in Oregon. I love it here. It's a beautiful place. Okay, so I will just get us started. So this webinar is about the feminine art of fearless confidence. And I have to be super honest with you and say that when Jemana and I came up with the title for this webinar, I kind of just giggled and laughed inside, like, wow, I'm doing a webinar on confidence. This is kind of funny because I have struggled with it for so much of my life and still do in many ways. But when I was thinking about that, I thought, well, I think that struggle and me finding my ways through and with it is part of what allows me to be able to speak to it. I think there are a few people who are magically born with a lot of confidence, but I feel like a lot of us need to find our way with it and have struggles with it. So I'm right here with you in this journey to finding more of this fearless feminine confidence. Thanks, Stoiga. So I want to introduce you to who I am and what we'll be talking about today, and then we'll get into all of the wonderful content that we'll be talking about. So my name is Jasmine Patton, and I am a mentor for Her Mystery School, which is an amazing 9-month journey through deep feminine sovereignty and wisdom and grace. And it's such a joy and honor to be part of this wonderful program. I'm also a coach and a guide to women around the topics of self-care and inner wisdom and boundaries. It's really my prayer that I may be of service to the empowerment of women. It's such an honor to support women on the journey to finding a sense of their own selves and being able to speak their truth. You can find out more about the mentorships and about me by checking out the Mystery School website under the curriculum tab and down to mentorships. So what we'll be talking about today is confidence, what it isn't, what it is from a deep feminine perspective, and some of the challenges that may come up around it for a lot of us. And then I'll be talking about 3 keys, as I see them, to really embodying and inhabiting your feminine confidence. And then I'll be giving you 2 very simple and practical tools to help you to cultivate and tend to your own confidence. And then I'll be taking questions and answers at the end. So as we're going along, if anything comes up for you, if you have any questions or have a comment you want to share, please feel free to use the chat bar to share that with me and also to share that with other women on this journey. So before we get started, I would love to just do a quick and simple grounding meditation to bring us all into a deep presence with this space. So if you're able to right now, close your eyes with me and just start taking some slow, deep breaths, just allowing your breathing to be gentle and natural and easy. And placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly, and just feeling how your breath is moving your hands up and down. Allowing yourself to really take in the breath as it comes in, filling yourself up. And allow it to gently leave on the exhale. Feeling your connection with your body, through your hands, and with yourself. Just bringing yourself into a nice, easy, peaceful presence in this space together. Knowing that while we can't see each other, we are gathered as women in pursuit of a deeper knowledge of ourselves, a deeper understanding of the feminine energy that moves through us. And that through time and space, we are all connected in this space right now. So just feeling that breath easy in and easy out. And take one last deep, soft breath. Feeling your hands again on your body. And allowing yourself to open your eyes when you're ready. Bringing this presence that you've cultivated just in a few moments into the space of listening and receptivity. So I want to presence one thing, and that is that I will be looking at my notes as we go along. One of the things I'll be talking about today is bringing this question forward of what is it that you need to support your confidence? So I know that when I do these webinars, I can get a little bit nervous, and I want to stay really focused, and I want to make sure that I'm speaking all of the truths that have come through me when I'm thinking about what I want to share with you. So I'll be checking my notes, and that's how I'll be supporting my confidence as we go on this journey together. So I want to start by defining what confidence isn't, and then we'll go into what confidence is. So I think that there can be some misconceptions and perceptions about confidence and what it actually should look like. And those things can be something like posturing or bravado or looking really perfect or being, quote, successful in certain ways that are societally acceptable, or just kind of seeming to have it all together and making sure that everything is good, being right, having lots of friends and being liked. So while all of these things can be really amazing, they can also be part of these false masks of confidence that we can wear that kind of say that, like, look, I'm confident, I've got it all together. And the reality is that a lot of times inside there can be a whole other story going on. So I think it's important to name that, because I'm sure that we've all experienced witnessing people in false confidence and maybe feeling a little off when we're engaging with them, or trying to be confident ourselves by doing these particular things, but not actually feeling that inside. So what I'm really interested in as we talk today is looking into what is inner confidence. What is a true, deep, feminine confidence? Something that can't be taken away, that is unmovable in a way. So what that looks like is this. So when I was looking at the definition of confidence, one of the things that it said is like being really clear and certain about something. That can be tricky because The world is always changing. People are always changing, and it's hard to be certain of X, Y, or Z happening out there. It's hard to be certain even of the weather or how your partner will respond to something, those types of things. So all of that, that outer world is changeable, and it's hard to be certain about that. However, I feel like there is something that we can be certain of, and that is our inner selves, our essence, our true nature, the truth and the depth of our own feminine spirit. And that is something that in the essence does not change. So when I'm talking about inner confidence and true confidence, I'm talking about the certainty and the clarity and the knowing of who I am inside and being really connected and aligned with that. And so that starts from the inside. So this false confidence I was talking about is all about the outer realm. And this true inner confidence comes from like the deep core of the essence of who I am inside. So from that, having true confidence is really being connected to your core and to yourself and to who you are as a special, unique being, which you are. So it's knowing that what you're doing, let me rephrase that. Confidence is knowing what you're doing, even if all you know is that you're listening to yourself and your own needs. So in that way, confidence can be something that we can all cultivate and have if we can keep coming back to the center and keep coming back to the knowing of who we are. Also, there's something that's really important to state about confidence is that it's not like this place that we arrive to. And then it's like one day I'm confident and that's it. Like, I got this. What I have found in my journey, and especially over this last month as I've been, feeling into and creating this webinar, is that confidence is something that I come back to again and again. It's this center place inside of my own deep knowing, and it's going to get challenged by all kinds of things, people, work, relationships, weather, how I'm feeling in a particular day. There's so many things that change on the outside. So it's not about never feeling a lack of confidence. It's actually more about coming back to this place inside that is the inner confidence. So just really want to anchor that in and to say it's possible to lose confidence like 20 times in a day, but to still actually be confident because you can come back to that place in yourself, coming back again and again and again. It's also something that can be built and tended to and cultivated over time. So an example of that is a couple years ago, I was like, oh wow, I really want to get a kayak. I've kayaked a few times and it's just so exciting and thrilling to me to think of that. But I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what kind to get. I don't know how to transport it from one place to another. Basically, totally not feeling confident about the whole thing, but feeling a desire to do that. So what I did was found ways to build that confidence. So I went to REI and did a bunch of research and found the right one for me. Then asked the people there, like, will you show me how to put this thing on my car? Because I have no idea. I watched them. I studied them. I had friends help me take it on and off for a while because I wasn't sure about how to actually do that. Now it's like 3 years later, over time, building, cultivating, tending, I can just throw that thing on my car, go down to the lake, take it off, do my thing, and feel really confident about it. But it's not something that happened overnight. It's something that happened actually over time, over years, with love and attention and studying and watching people who do it, getting help. So I feel, like that's just really important to share, that confidence is something that we can build, something that we can grow into. So if there's something that you're desiring to be confident about, allow yourself that space to grow into it and to create it over time. And I think that can be relieving because sometimes there's this idea that like we should just know how things work and be confident right away and just get it. But the truth and the reality and this kind of like a feminine sensibility of allowing time and space for things to unfold shows that it grows over time. And really, it's about having an intimacy with yourself and a knowing of yourself and an honoring of your needs. I don't think that confidence is something that should be about what other people expect you to do or what other people want you to do or even what you expect your own self to do. So something like I will probably never be fully confident because I'm an introvert and an empath and kind of shy at times going into a large party of people where I don't know anyone. Like, it's probably just not going to happen. For extroverts, it's no problem. And they might look at me and be like, why is that even such a challenge? But in knowing myself, I know that that's just not my thing. However, I know that I can support my confidence in a situation like that by bringing a buddy with me. I know that if I have a buddy going into that kind of situation, I'm much more likely to feel confident and grounded. Or on the other hand, I might just not even go to those types of gatherings and just be okay with that. So what I'm trying to explain is like not pushing myself into something that is really beyond who I am or what I actually want to do, and just really making peace with who I am, how I take what I love and what works for me, and really resting in that. So resting in this place of center instead of reaching outside to try and figure out like, how can I be like everyone else, or how can I fit into this mold? No, come back right here. Who am I? What do I love? What works for me? And so in the mystery school, we do a lot of this work, especially in the first month of homecoming. And one of the concepts that we work with is poise. And the poise is really so much of what I've been talking about, which is finding that place in your center and being able to sit and rest there, to know that and to trust that, and to come from that place, to move from that place in every area of your life, instead of moving from the outside in, moving from the inside out. So I want to ask a question of you all and see if some of you can answer, what was a time when you felt truly confident? And I would love to hear from you just really briefly, like what were you doing and how were you feeling when you were doing this thing that just felt confident? I want to bring forward some of the just pure expression of what confidence, true confidence, really feels like inside of you. So please share that in the chat. And I'll just go back, I'll just share one from me. So back to this idea of kayaking. Yesterday, I took my kayak out on the water and I just felt free and sovereign and in my element and just happy, just really, really happy. So Christine says, presenting to community groups about my area of expertise. Wonderful. So there was something that you felt certain about, which is your expertise. That's great. After I climbed Mount St. Helens. Awesome. Conquering a mountain, that's beautiful. Going back to college at 43 and graduating with honors, it felt amazing. Congratulations, Connie. Yeah, being an empath and introvert does not preclude learning more feminine confidence, like not at all. And that's why this aspect of knowing ourselves and understanding who we are is so important, because if I'm trying to act like someone else, I'm probably not going to be confident because that's just not my way. But if I'm really acting like me and for me, that's where I can find my confidence. Very helpful for empaths and introverts for sure. Getting a grant and going back to school, building things and transforming spaces. putting my services for energy work and animal communication on her website without worrying about being perceived as a crazy psychic lady. Yes, owning what your gifts are, right? That's what that sounds like. Going back to college at 59 and graduating with a doctorate at 61. Beautiful. Working and earning my own money, I feel confident. Watching the sunrise and receiving the energy of the sun into myself. Beautiful. So, as I'm reading this, it sounds like quite a few of the things that you're sharing are about taking on a challenge and finding that you can actually accomplish that and do that. That is such a beautiful way to create confidence and be in it, is, to challenge yourself and to find, like, what is this thing that I really want to do? And I'm just going to go for it. And then on the other side of it, discovering that you can, like, oh, amazing. And then some beautiful things, just watching a sunrise, earning your money, communicating your truth in different ways. Organizing a bachelorette party with a group of women. I bet that was fun. Yeah. So let's just flush out this idea of what are some of the qualities and energies of feminine confidence. So as we've seen here, it includes rising to a challenge, finding your strength. And someone added, trusting my intuition when I do trust it. Yes, that aspect of trusting yourself, listening to your own voice. Also having emotions and feelings like radiance, joy, happiness, feeling grounded, feeling safe, feeling sure, or at least sure enough of yourself to put yourself out there. And also being vulnerable and authentic can be part of that equation. Doing things that we love, doing things that we desire. So these are, some of the whole basket of qualities of feminine confidence. If there's anything that you would like to add, I would love to hear that. But I think it's important to recognize some of these qualities, because when we have maybe an opportunity to do something, or we're considering making a choice in life, we can think about, like, how does this relate to my confidence? And deepening that question, like, will I feel radiant? Will I feel joyful? Will I feel grounded if I do this? Or will it be the opposite? And if it's the opposite, that might be something to look at. So my point in this is, how can we move towards the things that we love, the things that we desire, and challenge us to be kind of a guiding point towards this road to confidence. Oh yeah, Julia says, none of these qualities depend on a response from other people. It's all about what's inside. That's such a great point. Yes, and that is like the essence of what I want to share with you today. That this inner confidence comes from the inside out, comes from us knowing ourselves. Bonus if other people love it or have a good response, but at the end of the day, we're left with ourselves, and what's in there is what's really beautiful. Yes, being vulnerable with my partner from a position of being grounded and sure that my feelings and thoughts are valid no matter how different they are from his. Beautiful. Yeah, that position of being grounded is so important. Can be challenging for sure, and it can be very strengthening. Taking care of my body. Yes, and I'll definitely be touching on that shortly. Great, thank you for sharing. It's one of my bits of confidence is that when I'm just talking to a computer screen, it can feel like, what's happening? Is anyone there? Are we having a conversation? So I really love hearing from you, because you're why I'm here. So thank you for sharing. So let's talk about some of the challenges that are what I'm calling confidence killers. Also, I think it's important to be aware of these, because they can be indicators that we're actually off center or not connected to the core. So these can be signposts and ways to know, oh, I think I might need to check in with myself because I'm feeling this thing. So I'll name some of them now. A huge, huge, huge one is comparison. And I know as women, we often suffer from this blight of comparison a lot. I know I still do. It happens all the time. So when I'm comparing myself to somebody else, I'm stepping out of my center first and foremost, and then just thinking that I need to be like someone else, again, speaking to that, instead of like who I am. So comparison can definitely take confidence down at the knees, like pretty quickly. Valuing others' opinions and thoughts more than our own. So again, it's that outer referencing and making that much more important than what's actually going on in here. To the knees on confidence again. Being out of your body. So maybe not, recognizing what's actually happening inside can just be bad for confidence. Like if I am, say, what's a good example? If I am trying to do a workout, say, and it is pretty hardcore and it's actually more than I'm used to. If I am not connected with my body, I might go ahead and try to do that, but hurt myself or fall off balance or something like that. Whereas if I'm in my body, I can check in and be like, oh, actually, that's not going to work for me right now because my body is telling me, too much, too fast, whatever that is. Wanting or trying to be different than who you are. And a really good indicator of when this is happening is when the word should comes into the mind. I have a big red flag when the word should comes up in myself or my clients because it's one of the surest indicators that there's something that's off and there's referencing happening outside. So if I think that as an introvert, I should be comfortable going to parties, that's just not going to be good for me because I'm just not a lot of times, and that's okay. So should is a good indicator that maybe you're outside, let's come back in. And then there's also a lot of fears that come up. So it could be a fear of rejection, a fear of not being fill in the blank enough, good enough, thin enough, strong enough, smart enough, like whatever those things are. The fear of being wrong too. So these fears can keep us from expressing or keep us from really acting on something that we desire or love. So I'm sure there are more challenges, but these are some of the most common ones that I've been witnessing in myself and others that, again, are signals to say, ooh, ooh, pay attention. How about let's go back in instead of reaching out again? Like I said before, the challenges to confidence will be many every day. So it's not about stopping them. It's about how do we come back to ourselves? And we'll be addressing that in just a few minutes. And I mean, honestly, I struggle with confidence in some way, probably almost every single day. But what's okay with that at this point is that through all my work with the mystery school and on my own personal inner work, I've been able to find ways to just keep coming back. Where is my center? Where is my confidence? Oh, I found myself comparing. Let me come back to who I really am. Oh, I thought I should do something. Let me come back. Oh, I'm having a fear of being wrong. Let me come back. So just quickly, I would love to hear from any of you, which of these comparison killers really is resonating with you? What are you seeing light up about it in your own life? I know yesterday I had the experience of being very wrong about something. And I know that in the past I've had a lot of fear of putting myself out there because I really don't like to be wrong. But it happened. And I worked through it and came back to myself using the meditation that I'll share with you towards the end, and it wound up being okay. Yeah, should is one for me. Should is a big one. I think there should be big red flags waving. Stop and pay attention. Rejection and being wrong. Yeah. Being wrong can sometimes feel like an existential threat, depending on what it is. Yeah, I hear that. It's been a trick for me to accept I'm enough regardless of fallibility. Yeah, it's a big one. At that really primal level, the fear of being wrong can feel like basically maybe the tribe won't accept me, I'll be shunned, and then I'll just die from loneliness. It really hits at that level, so I understand that. Not knowing, not honoring my unique way of being and trying to be like others kills my confidence. Yeah. I wanted to challenge myself to try public speaking. Every time I attempt it, I am consumed by complete and total fear and insecurity. Yeah, Raven, I hear you. And I think in some ways we have to make some peace with the fact that we will feel these things, and we can actually feel these things even at the same time as feeling confident, like feeling afraid of speaking and then getting up there and doing it anyway. My kitty is not afraid of saying hello to you all. She's bringing her little joy bubble here. So I just want to make that invitation to allow that it's not one or the other. It's not either I'm confident or I'm afraid or whatever it is, but we can actually have both existing at the same time. I've had a rich life with lots of experiences, but I always compare myself with career woman and feeling like I'm the center of the tension in a strange group, nerve-wracking. Yeah. And just a little aside in the piece of comparison. Bye-bye, kitty. It can also be a pointer towards, if I'm comparing myself to someone who has a very traditionally successful career, like, what is that showing me about myself? It's a really good question to ask. It can be showing that maybe I have a desire to be acting on my dreams. It can be showing me that I have a desire to have a connection to a community of some sort. Things like that. So when comparison comes up or when shoulds come up, it can be helpful to ask the question, what is it that I'm really wanting here? What is this showing me? And, another piece of this is have compassion for yourself when you're not feeling confident. Because it can be easy to fall into the trap of, I'm not feeling confident. I really should feel confident. Should. Boo, boo, boo. You know what? I'm not feeling confident, and that's okay. That's okay right now. So this is a piece that I bring in all of my client sessions, and really all of my work is this compassion towards ourselves for our experience, for our journey, for the things that we want to accomplish and create, just allowing the natural timing to happen and allowing some love to be turned towards ourselves as we go through these processes. Jealousy is like that too, such a gift. Shines a light on your deepest desires. Yes, totally. Totally. There are so many gifts and all these really uncomfortable feelings if we're willing to unwrap the package there, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of water and then we're going to talk about 3 keys to confidence. So these 3 keys are something I have distilled down as like the pillars and the core of how to tend to create and cultivate more confidence in your life. And I will be teaching a class in July. you'll get more information about that in the replay email that will go much more into depth around these. But for now, I'm going to at least touch on them and just bring them to your awareness, and hopefully they'll inspire some self-reflection and support for you. And before I do that, let's see, Carrie the animal communicator said my cat was being persistent for a reason. Her advice to us all regarding confidence is to be like a cat. Don't worry what anyone thinks. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Carrie. Totally. Yes to that. Okay, so I'm going to share these 3 keys with you along with a story of my own to help illustrate these points. So when I was knowing that I was going to do this webinar, the title had just come through, and I went on a backpacking trip with a friend. So as we were driving to our trailhead, I started to talk about this. So it became the theme of our trip. Like, what is confidence? What is fearless confidence? What is feminine confidence? It was just in the field, it was up. And so sure enough, I got to have some really good learning experiences as to what that was for me. And now I'm able to share that with you to illustrate these points. So key number 1 is knowing yourself. Really, really, really important. And if I were to only share one piece of wisdom around cultivating confidence, it would be this, is to know yourself. Know what you desire, know what you value, know what's important to you, know what your limitations are, what your desires are. I think I said that. So there's so many ways to know yourself, but those are some of the very key ways. What do you value? What do you desire? What are your limits? What do you love? So when we were on this backpacking trip, I knew that going into it, well, there were going to be potentially bears, snakes, ticks, and poison oak. I wasn't too excited about any of that, but I was okay with it. I feel like I know that I'm not actually that scared of bears or snakes. I'm actually pretty freaked out by ticks and poison oak, but I knew that if there's poison oak there, and ticks, what I need to do is wear long pants, tuck them into my socks, bring like the black soap to wash it off if I happen to touch any, that type of thing. So I knew what my fears were and weren't, and I took care of the very basics of like covering my body so that I wouldn't be brushing up against it with my bare skin. So self-knowing, knowing what you need is a big part of that too. And the second key is embodiment. Honoring your body and her wisdom and her needs and her limits again. Also, intuition comes through the body. And things like fear and anxiety can actually come through your body as well. So in this case, the trail was going along fine. There was some poison oak, but I was able to like navigate around it. I was able to not actually touch it. And I'm okay with that to a certain degree. So we're hiking along. My friend is so excited. She's like bouncing up the trail. She's so happy to be getting out. Side note, she doesn't get poison oak at all. So here I am like taking my time going through the poison oak, and we get to this point in the trail where it is like this. There was no way around it. It was as far as we could see. There's no other trail. It was just there. So up until that point, I'd been okay. We hit that point and I just stopped. Like my body literally stopped. And what came through was this kind of this primal in the back of the brain sense of fear and anxiety and immobility, really. And I just noticed that my body was like, I can't move anymore. I can't actually keep walking. I started to cry a little bit. It was kind of intense. My body was telling me like, hey, remember all those other times when you got poison oak and you lost a week of your life to laying on the couch and just going through it? Yeah, I'm reminding you of that again. So in that moment, my body was telling me, stop, just stop. So I listened because having poison oak is no fun. Which brings us to the third key, which is discernment. And this is all about having healthy boundaries, being okay with saying no, being okay with making a choice that actually serves you instead of focusing on it serving other people. So, we had a plan. We were going to go to this place. My friend was really excited. She didn't even get poison oak. So it was really all on me in that moment to decide what to do. And it was super uncomfortable because I wanted to go. I wanted to make sure that she was happy and having fun and all of that. But when I got really honest with myself, I stood there on the trail and just stopped for a little while. And I said, you know what? I can't do this. Like, I just literally, physically, energetically, on no level can I actually do this. I come out here to have fun and be free, and this is the opposite of that. So I needed to tell her, like, we have to turn around. We can't actually do this trip, which was hard because it's so hard to disappoint people. But that's what had to happen. And she was amazing. She said, you know what? It's okay that I'm bummed and I'll get over it. So thank goodness for good friends. So we did turn around. We wound up having a really fun camping adventure of another sort. In that situation, false confidence or putting on a mask of confidence might have looked like, I'm going to forge ahead because I don't want to disappoint her and I want to do what I said I was going to do and I want to follow through and all of that kind of thing. But the true confidence was knowing myself and knowing what my limits were and having the courage in that moment to stand up for that and advocate for my own self. So I hope that helps to illustrate what I'm sharing about here. So self-knowing is number one. Listening to your body or embodiment is number two. And discernment, having healthy boundaries, is number three. So those three things are the really important grounding and pillars that will support you to have that true inner confidence from the inside out. Julie is saying that she's good at number 1 and 2, but coming to discernment and boundaries, that's where I break down. Yeah, it can be a really challenging place for sure. For sure. And I find that the more that I know myself and the more that I listen to and trust my body, the easier that piece is. Because it's actually then when I'm really knowing myself, I'm really trusting myself. When I speak, it's just like kind of the next logical step because I've really anchored into and connected to those first two pieces. All right, so now I would like to share 2 simple and practical tools that I hope will support you to come back into yourself, to connect into your essence so that you can know yourself, and trust yourself, and be able to start speaking up about that more. So the first one we will do is what I call the gather and ground meditation practice. This has come from my years of doing work with Jomana and kind of finding my own particular way of working with the energy of coming back to myself. I find that it's incredibly helpful when I find myself going up and out, doing the shoulds or doing the comparison or having the fears about what people will think. All of that energetically is an up and out energy. So my invitation for you in this practice is to actually bring the energy in and down. So in and down is what we'll be doing. So let's close our eyes together again and come into a nice, easy, gentle breath. Just allowing it to take its natural pace. And again, if it feels comfortable, place a hand on your heart, hand on your belly. Just feeling that easy breath coming in and going out. And feeling yourself grounded on the seat that you're sitting on. So start to pay attention to where your energy is up and out of you. It may be focused on a challenge at work or something that came up in your family, a fear that you're having, problem you're trying to solve. Anything like that. Where are you feeling your energy up and out of yourself? And it's likely in multiple places. So as you start to become aware of that, begin to gather your energy back into you. So this can look like just imagining it pulling back in, or you can reach your hands out and gather it back in. However, this idea of gathering the energy back into yourself works for you. And just take your time to tend to all of the places where this needs to happen. Just gathering it in. This is your precious energy, your life force. And at the end of the day, it belongs inside of you. And still breathing easy, gathering. And as you gather this energy inside of you, feel how it is filling you up with yourself. As you breathe, just feel that fullness of your energy coming back home. Now, as all that fullness is gathered inside of you, let it sink with the weight of gravity gently into your pelvic bowl. So you've brought the energy in, and now you're allowing it to sink down into this magical, powerful place in your body. The pelvic bowl and the womb space. Just let yourself feel the weight of that, grounding you to the earth, grounding you to the center of yourself. And just breathing with that. When you're in this place of your power, you are connected to yourself. You are able to know yourself. You have access to all that energy that was out, that is now in and down. So just take a few more deep breaths into your pelvic bowl and your womb, feeling the beautiful weight of your precious energy residing in there. And knowing that you can come back to this place anytime you desire. Start to again feel where your hands are touching your body. Noticing your breath. And wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe shrug your shoulders a little bit. And when you're ready, come back with open eyes. And if you feel called to share something about that experience in the chat, please do. So this practice has been incredibly helpful for me in a couple of ways. I feel like you can do it in a slow, beautiful way like we just did. You can also do it in a moment. So I'll give you an example. The last couple days, there's been a lot going on in my world that had my energy up and out. I was thinking about challenges and things to do and all of that. So when I lay down to sleep, I was wondering if I could actually go to sleep because there was a lot of buzz happening. So I did this practice in this long, slow way. Oh, and it just felt so good. And I went to sleep before I knew it. It was lovely. And the other way that I use this practice is when I'm out in the world and around people. For me in particular, this is helpful if I'm around larger groups of people, or I'm in a situation where I feel a little uncomfortable, or possibly around men. These are all, I think, places where you can relate, where the energy can come up and out. So I'll notice myself taking a walk and just in an instant noticing that my energy is up and out and saying, okay, gather and ground. And as soon as I feel my energy in my pelvic bowl, everything shifts and that natural confidence comes forward. So I invite you to practice that the long, slow way and also in a really quick, just in the moment way. So Connie shares that her energy started fragmented and swirling and ended up being calm and rested. And Grace says this feels fantastic. I love it. Great. I'm glad to hear that. It's very nourishing and calming, like you say. Gathering ground is a great mantra. Wonderful. Yes. So the other tool that I'd like to share with you is simply a question. I love questions because questions feel like doorways to me that can open up so much inspiration and revelation inside of us. So the question I'd like to offer you is, what do I need to feel confident? What do I need to feel confident? So if you find yourself in a situation that creates that fragmented and swirling energy, where you're feeling insecure, those types of things, turn towards yourself and say, well, what is it that I need to feel confident here? It might look like calling a friend and asking for some support in a particular way. It might look like doing this gather and ground practice. It might look like taking your shoes off and feeling your feet on the earth. What is that for you? So we have these two tools of gather and ground your energy and ask yourself this question, what do I need to feel confident? All right, so that is what I have to offer and share with you today. Thank you so much for being open to receiving it. And in these last 5 or 6 minutes, I'd love to open up questions if you have any, or comments, anything like that. I'd love to share and answer anything that comes up for you. So let me know in the chat box if you have anything. It looks like we have the kitty still there in the background. She's gathered and grounded her energy too. Okay, so more clarity on the discernment piece would be lovely. Yes, Julia, I agree. It is a huge topic. And I am teaching this class, like I said, in July for 3 weeks. And each week will be on one of those keys. So we'll have a week all about discernment where I can support you with that. Also, I do private coaching with my clients around discernment and boundaries. It's something that I just love. So I'm available to support you in that way as well. And like I said, the class there'll be a link for that, and there'll be some information for that in the replay link that we'll send out tomorrow. So let's see, what else do we have here? This has been helpful to think about and feel in my body. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Christine. Julia's noticing that she tunes into others' needs so much. Yeah, and we do that as women. That's one of our superpowers too, that we're able to track other people. And it's just one of these feminine arts to start to turn that energy and that attention towards ourselves. My mind kept going back to, I need a relationship. How do I get away from that? You know, in a way, I would say, instead of trying to get away from that, what happens if you deepen into that desire? What happens when you really feel into that and really do some inquiry about what that's about for you? You're welcome, Doiga. Thank you. Yeah, I'll share a little bit about her mystery school. It's a really, really beautiful online program. That's a 9-month journey. It starts on the new moon in September. You can learn a whole lot more about it at hermysteryschool.com. But I'll share a little bit here. It's every month, there is a different theme that is really all about helping you to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and with the divine feminine energy. So we touch on all kinds of topics, and every week you get a transmission, which is a teaching, as well as a meditation that helps you really understand and embody these beautiful, deeper aspects of what it is to be inhabiting feminine energy. There's also group calls that you can be a part of to deepen the experience. And there's women from all over the world who have taken part in it the last few years, and we are doing our 3rd year this year. So please go to the website. It will tell you a lot more, hermysteryschool.com. It's a beautiful journey and is very supportive of all the women who've gone through it so far. And we have another kitty here. She doesn't care either. She's showing her cute fluffy tail. Wendy is still a bit unsettled, restless energy. What do you do when the practice doesn't work and you feel a block? That's a good question, Wendy. I would say try doing it again. And if you can notice when you're doing the practice, if there's a particular place in your body where you feel the block, you can put your hands there and just breathe into that and turn your attention there. If it's your mind that is still active, try doing that practice with letting your mind sink into your heart. So there's a few ideas of that. And it's a practice, which means it's something that can be done again and again. And it may not settle you the first time, but it may settle you maybe the 5th time. So just allowing some space for that to unfold. Oh, thank you for that, ED. I feel a vibration from my pelvic bowl, like it's wanting to sing out. I wonder if there is a chant we could share. That's a good question. But in the context of this, Jen, I would love to offer you, maybe after this call, to go back into that space of the meditation and feel that vibration in your pelvic bowl and actually find the way that it wants to sing out through you. Like, what is your particular voice and sound? What is your authentic expression of that vibration? I would love to offer that to you to find out, just what is that for you? Raven, what is it inside us that can make us feel so uncomfortable saying no? It's a lot, Raven. That's a big question for sure. If I were to distill it down to an answer, it would be not valuing and honoring what is true inside of us. That can express in so many ways. For my own self, I've found that the more that I just recognize and honor what's actually happening inside of me, then it's so much easier to say no, because it's really not about anybody else. It's about honoring what my limitations or my needs or desires are. So contemplate on that. Yeah. And thank you, Carrie, and she thanks the kitties for their energy too. That may also be a need for food for extra grounding. I can relate to that too. Yeah, that's a great point, Danny, is that sometimes the very simple things like having enough sleep, having enough food, not feeling stagnant or pain in our body, those things can contribute a lot to our feeling of confidence. I know that when I'm hungry, I'm just not going to be as confident. So it's a really good point. And Danny was feeling frantic before the call, but now peaceful and grounded. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, nice to be on this call with you all. So again, thank you so much. I am truly honored that you have chosen to spend this little bit of time in your day with me and around this topic with all the women who've shown up here. I find it courageous for you as women to be even looking into this. So bravo to you for showing up and doing this deep inquiry into yourselves. And we'll send the link out to the replay tomorrow with more details about the class and the mystery school. Thank you again so much for being here. And I just wish you deep inner confidence, however that shows up for you, and so much love. Thank you. Bye-bye.